Hello everybody, today I am watching Your Tattoo is Inside Your Immune System, literally, by Kurz gesagt. I always used to think as a kid that your tattoo was just something that you got on your skin, but as I grew older I realized that if that was the case, then eventually your tattoo would just disappear as your old skin gets replaced by new skin, because your skin is constantly falling off and being replaced by new skin. So that's obviously not how tattoos work, and this video will most likely explain how it does work.
Your tattoos are inside your immune system, literally. With each very tasteful piece of art, you kickstart a drama with millions of deaths, grand sacrifices, and your immune system stepping in to protect you from yourself. Let's give you a tattoo and zoom in to see what happens inside your skin. The conveyor belt of death. Your skin has to solve a huge...
So far, this makes it sound like tattoos are something that's trying to kill you. That's what it makes it sound like, even though that's not the case. Or maybe it is. Maybe that actually is what tattoos are, and somehow your immune system fights against it or something, maybe.
problem. It's your largest organ and has the most direct contact with the world around you. Trillions of microbes, dirt, insects and vermin can't be allowed to get inside you, but your skin is also constantly damaged by you moving through the world. Your body solved this by making your skin a conveyor belt of death. All the skin you see is actually dead stuff. The alive part of your skin cells begins around 1...
Yeah, so that's basically what I was talking about earlier, about how your skin is constantly being replaced by new skin.
...millimeter deep in the skin industrial complex. Stem cells constantly clone themselves, producing new skin cells that begin a journey from the inside to the outside. Each new generation pushes the older ones further up. As your skin cells mature, they interlock with each other and produce lamellar bodies, tiny bags that squirt out fat to create a waterproof coat that closes any gaps between them. And then they dry out and kill themselves, merging together into inseparable lumps. This wall of dead corpses is consistently pushed upwards. Up to 50 layers of dead cells cover your whole body.
So basically, all the skin that you see, it's all just dead. That's really weird to think about.
And are constantly replaced by new cells moving up. Every hour, you shed around 200 million dead skin cells and all the dirt or bacteria that are stuck to them. Tattooing
I've heard that, most of the dust that's in the air is just dead skin cells. That's what I've heard, I'm not sure. I'll probably put up a picture on the screen confirming or denying that, but that is what I've heard. And it would make sense considering your skin is constantly dying.
This part of your skin would be useless.
Dead skin cells are constantly falling off.
We need to go deeper. When the fleshy world explodes, below the conveyor belt of death lies the dermis. It's full of structural tissue and cells, tiny blood vessels, sensory cells that report to nerve endings, the roots of your hairs, sweat glands regulating your temperature, and of course loads of immune cells, guarding your flesh right below the moving border wall. This region and below is where your new tattoo will go. Okay, ready? The world explodes. Half a dozen monoliths the size of skyscrapers slam through the 50 layers of dead cells deep into the dermis, ripping huge holes into the skin, only to retreat and smash through the tissue again about twice a second. Tens of thousands of cells are violently killed right away, ripped into pieces, or damaged beyond repair. Luckily, you did your research and chose a responsible tattoo artist who properly disinfected their tools and your skin. But you only ever get 99.9% of all bacteria, and some of the survivors made it into your flesh. To put it mildly, your immune system is not amused at all. All the death and destruction wakes up hundreds.
Yeah, a tattoo is really just you messing up your own body. It looks cool, but at the same time, it's not good for your health.
Hundreds of thousands of macrophages in your dermis that rush into the open wounds to defend you. Immediately, they start killing bacteria, release chemicals that call for reinforcements, and order your blood vessels to open up and make your dermis swell up with fluid. But worse than the hundreds of wounds and a few invaders is the tidal wave of chemicals that floods your tissue. Tattoo ink can be made from hundreds of substances, some may even be toxic or carcinogenic.
Well, that's nice.
Most are from heavy metals like lead, nickel or chromium dissolved in distilled water. The battlefield is now a wild mix of dead cell parts, a few panicked bacteria,
aren't all three of those really harmful for the human body? Is that actually what's being injected into your skin? I'm never getting a tattoo, screw that.
Blood and bodily fluids, platelet cells trying to close wounds, more and more fresh immune cells, and the flood of tattoo ink. On the scale of your cells, clumps of ink particles are huge. If you were the size of a cell, they'd range from big dogs to small office buildings. Your immune system has one main job: identify what is not you and smash it until it's dead. The macrophages are desperately trying to do that. Like tiny octopuses, they extend arm-like structures and begin pulling the ink particles inside. Usually when a macrophage has eaten an enemy, it showers it in acid to dissolve it. But this doesn't work with the ink. They try, but nothing works. The particles don't react in any way. And this is just the particles small enough to be devoured. By now, the larger chunks are surrounded by thousands of your structural skin cells and macrophages that are nomming on them, bathing them in acid and attack chemicals, trying to destroy and kill them. But they're not moving even a tiny bit. Nothing works. Finally, your immune system has to concede. It will not win this fight, so it does the next best thing: not lose. Your cells don't know how dangerous these metals and chemicals are, but they can at least not let them spread around. So they just...
You know, I always wanted to get a tattoo at some point, but after seeing what's actually inside the ink and what it's doing to your body, I'm reconsidering. I don't think I will ever get one. A tattoo just doesn't sound like it's worth the risk to me. It doesn't sound worth it anymore.
Stay in place. They vacuum up all the particles they can fit into their bodies and surround the larger ones, trapping them in the only prison they can build, themselves. Bit by bit, the ink inside thousands of tiny wounds moves inside millions of immune cells that freeze in place forever. On the outside, you don't notice any of this. Your new tattoo is fresh and the colors are vibrant. Your skin hurts and is irritated and swollen. But wounds heal, tiny holes close, dead cells are replaced. Bit by bit, the conveyor belt of death does its job, shedding dead cells ripe in color, replacing them with fresh and clean ones. Your tattoo becomes a little less vibrant, now the ink is no longer on your skin, but inside it. But what you're really seeing is millions of your macrophages sitting in your dermis, patiently holding the ink in place, protecting your body from poison. Your immune system is...
So yeah, a tattoo is really just poison waiting to kill you and hoping your immune system fails. That's actually interesting. What if, for example, you have a tattoo, but then for some reason somehow your immune system just fails? Does that poison just start spreading in your body and possibly even kill you? Because if yes, then just having a tattoo can be a huge risk in case your immune system ever fails for whatever reason. Also, how does a tattoo stay in its shape? Since your skin is constantly moving, wouldn't your tattoo technically move around a tiny bit? Since your skin is constantly growing, it's constantly new cells, so wouldn't they shift around at least by minuscule amounts? I feel like at some point you would see it move a little bit at least, but maybe not.
Why your tattoo is forever. Actually, nothing is forever. Over time, your macrophages get old and die, and new ones come in to gobble up the ink and keep it in place. But sometimes a tiny bit of ink escapes. Most of it is recaptured and locked in place, but not always the exact same place. You notice that as your tattoo fades out a bit and turns less sharp and crisp at its edges. Some of the ink escapes the tattoo entirely.
So that just answered my question. It does kind of, in a way, move around, which causes it to look blurry, less sharp.
It rides fluids flowing from your tissue and spreads around your body. Another reason why tattoo ink should ideally not be poison. Your immune system also kind of doesn't want you to remove tattoos. To do that, usually the ink is shot at with lasers, which heats up the particles until they break into smaller chunks, cooking your brave macrophages in the process. With every round of lasering, more of your tattoo is broken down and carried away by fluids. But also every time, new macrophages rush into the tattoo to lock the ink in place. So maybe think about it carefully before you get the name of your new bae tattooed, but you do you. But if you got one, you can directly see your immune system protecting you. This is how much your body loves you, which is kind of sweet. And while tattoos are probably not that big of a deal for your body if applied correctly, you now know about the struggle going on inside your skin and the sacrifice of your macrophage buddies only for you to have that art forever. To appreciate your amazing immune system,
You know, I wonder if having a tattoo somehow influences your body like way down the line as you get really old. Logically, it should, at least a little bit, but it's probably not noticeable. But yeah, like I said before, I always thought about getting one. Don't think so. I don't think I'm going to. Not anymore. Because it really just doesn't, it's not worth the risk. Like yeah, a tattoo might look cool. Maybe it has some sort of meaning, some sentimental value, but at the end of the day, is it really worth the health risk? Because you really are just shooting poison into your body, which could cause some significant health problems if it manages to escape or if your immune system somehow fails to contain it. So yeah, a tattoo is something that you really have to think about a lot. You have to think whether or not you are willing to accept the health risks for really no benefit. Because a tattoo gives you no benefits, but it does give you health risks. So is that really worth it? Is that something you can accept? Well, that's something everyone just has to decide for themselves, really. Yeah, anyway, like, subscribe, comment. The link to my Discord server is down in the description below, so you can check that out if you want. And I will see you in the next video.